Hi everyone. So I've been just finished doing some video work for a corporate client around a very important area I find that links the mind and the body together. So I thought I'd put some ideas out into the wider World Wide Web, if you like. And the key area is to do with the solar plexus and the experience of balance and control and how much influence you feel that you have on life and that life has on you. Okay, so one of the interesting things to consider about the solar plexus is, from a medical point of view, it's considered to be the largest collection of brain cells outside of the skull, outside of the brain. So a lot of people, when they talk about gut instinct or they talk about intuition, locate those concepts here at the solar plexus, almost like we have another brain that's balancing the more analytical or fear-based processing that the mind sometimes does about the past or about the future. Okay, so but equally also our center of gravity is here. So the experience then of whether we feel balanced, whether we feel like changes around us are actually moving us to a place where we might not be able to maintain our relationship to life, where we might be set back or we may be tripped up, or where something may impact us more greatly than we want it to. All of those feelings can often sit in this area, and the anticipation of those things often then becomes that cyclical experience of worry. Okay, so how do you deal with that? How, what kind of practices or what kind of mindset might help you with that? Well, one of the things that I believe is that the rise in a number of practices like mindfulness, like meditation, like listening to podcasts like this, and equally the way that exercise is starting to evolve, it comes to a recognition of the value of being still. Okay? And we have so much movement around us in terms of physically having to be in different places, emotionally having to move from personal to professional spaces, and sometimes having those two things collapse together by use of electronic devices that can have a message be sent by our family at the same time as an important meeting's coming from work. So we sometimes find ourselves torn between different roles. That it's really important to create time for stillness, to be able to detach from any aspect of how we normally would be productive in our day, how we normally feel ourselves dealing with what life's throwing at us, and give ourselves permission to just be, to connect to breath, to center ourselves, and then from that center start to look not just at the individual aspects of life like firefighting, or look at a more sequential way of looking at life, like a list of things to do, you just tick things off. But actually being able to look for patterns and trends, to be able to look at the bigger picture and see what can be dealt with in life, what can be changed or input, that can have a, if you like, a multi-dimensional effect. So dealing with one thing allows a number of different things then to improve, to end, or to begin. Okay? One of the interesting things about this area as well is that although it's right at the center of the body, some of the more powerful expressions of it actually come from then looking at a bigger picture, like looking at a wider context, which leaves you with almost like the image of a wheel, where you are centering yourself at the hub of the wheel, but your attention is on the context, the most external aspects, the space that holds the experience or experiences that you're having. So I'll often talk about what's the context that brings a number of different areas of life together. And by being aware of whether the context is positive or negative, whether it's facing into the past in terms of reflection, whether it's facing into the future, whether the context is hidden or whether it's obvious to you, actually then can allow you to then center yourself in that context, find the stillness, and find the patterns that then link potential actions, potential expressions of self together. And that can be as simple as realizing that when you can't control something, the key thing is to not let it control you. There'll be plenty more videos around this area. It's a very important area coming up. do look for them. If you've enjoyed this video, then please like it and share it.